Hi everyone, this is Gail from Pretty Presets, and today I'm here with Teresa's image. And Teresa mentioned that she would like to get rid of the glass glare in this image. So I am going to show you how I would do that, and that it is possible to do it in Lightroom. So the first thing I would do is I would zoom in pretty much as close as I can get. Okay, I'm going to choose the cloning tool, the spot removal tool is its official name, I believe. From the menu over here, it's the little circle with the arrow sticking out to the right. And right now I have it on heal, and I have the opacity set to 100%, and I've got my feather about 84. Those are typical settings. You can adjust them as needed, and you'll see that I probably will adjust them a little bit. I'm going to start with my brush, and I'm going to change my brush size. I want it to be small enough that it will cover the center circle, I should say, will cover the area that I'm trying to clone. But I don't want it so big that it's pulling in a lot of extra areas. That will make my clone a little more imprecise. And when I'm doing glass glare, I need it to be as precise as possible. So I'm going to, oops, that was on accident, so I'm going to delete that. I'm going to start here, and I'm just going to start cloning. And you will see one of the tricks that I do, especially with glass glare, is to pull from the areas of the other eye that are good. So I'm going to do that with this image quite a bit because it, I think, will work the best. Typically, Lightroom will, in these cases, not pull from the best areas for the clone. So you're going to have to reposition your pins a lot. And you'll see that that's exactly what I'm having to do here. So as I reposition these pins, you can see that this is a little bit of a tedious job. And there's really no way around that. Cloning to remove glass glare is going to be tedious, and that's really why you want to avoid it as much as possible and fix the issues in camera. That's something about that doesn't seem right. I'm going to make my brush a little bit bigger. Remember that to increase the size of your brush, you can use the right bracket key to make it bigger and the left bracket key to make it smaller. Let's see what that does. Okay. So you can also hide your pins to see your work by clicking the H key. And if your pins, you want them back, then you click the H key again. So I'm going to, that might be way too big, but we're going to see how that will work. As I get up to cloning the glasses, you'll notice that I'm going to start looking for areas that fit the angle of the glasses. So I cloned right here. The other angle that's similar to that angle is over here, so I pulled over here to try to clone that. So, and right now I've got it set to heal. You can set it to clone and see if it does a better job. It really just depends. So sometimes if I just can't get something to work, then I'll change it to the other one. It isn't perfectly consistent which one works for me all the time. So just know that as you're cloning, and sometimes you might have to change it. Okay. So I'm going to come over here and now work on some of the glass glare that's actually on the glasses. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to see how well you've done your cloning when you're so close up. So in a minute we'll zoom out and see if I need to adjust anything. One thing that I'm noticing as I'm cloning this, and this might be just a good time to share, is I believe this was shot with on-camera flash. I'm not sure whether it was pop-up flash or just on-camera flash. And I really don't like on-camera flash because I think most people don't do it well. And so I try to tell people to avoid it. And in this case, as I'm cloning here, I think that it could have easily been avoided, because if we zoom out, you'll notice that we have over here on the left, we have a nice window light. I can see we have window light over here. All we would have needed to do is push down the flash and turn our subjects towards the window, and I think we would have had some really nice even lighting. You would have likely avoided some glass glare, and there would have been better lighting overall on their skin. So let's hide our pins and see how we're doing. I can see I have a little issue at the top here of her glasses, so I might go try to fix that a little bit. I'm not going to spend a ton more time doing this, but if this is your image, you will need to spend time making it look good. One other thing that you can do here is I'm going to use my brush tool. I'm going to choose Perfect Portrait and then Eye Mascara, and I'm going to make myself a small brush. And you can see that there's areas in here where where we've had to clone and maybe her eyelashes aren't perfect. Whoops. We can just come in here and create and darken some of her eyelashes. Just kind of help define that ridge of, I don't know what it's called, the area of your eye where you would apply like eyeliner. Just make it a little bit more bold, I guess, so we don't have the messiness that sometimes happens with cloning. Let's click back on our clone tool. I'm going to bring my pins back. I'm going to click on this pin. I'm going to delete it. I'm going to try again. And this might be a case where I've just used an area that was just too large. And I need to go back and do smaller chunks at a time. Or maybe it's just a case where I need to adjust my pins a little bit. Let's zoom out and see. That looks a little bit better. The other thing about flash that I think I'm going to do here, since we're talking about cloning, is that it typically leaves kind of this harsh light on the skin. So let's pull this down. I'm going to take my cloning tool, the same one I was using before. I'm going to increase the size. And I'm just going to clone over some of these areas where the skin looks more flashy. And try to back it off. We've got it over here on this other lady's skin as well. Flashy, bright spots on the skin usually aren't flattering. And this is another place where window light would have not given you this same harshness on the skin, which is just a good thing to know for the future when you're taking photos. I would have chosen to crank up my ISO before I chose to turn on my flash. And most cameras these days have great ISO capabilities, so you don't have to worry as much about, raising your ISO. There are lots of other areas that we could do here. One other place, I'm just going to come back on this other lady, and I'm going to increase my brush size. We're going to fix a little bit of this flashiness right through her eye. And this is an area where I'm going to want to reduce the opacity of my brush because I want it to blend in more and not just cover up. So let's pull down my opacity a little bit. And then let's just do it again over here. And make sure my opacity is down. Now let's zoom out and let's look at a before and after. Let's just click done. And you can see that we've cloned out the glass glare and made some significant changes to this image. So I hope that's helped you today and you've seen that you can clone in Lightroom and fix glass glare in Lightroom.